My stepson Jake thinks he's untouchable, cruising my car through the city like he's starring in some low-budget action flick. I'm stuck on a 12-hour shift, saving lives, while he's out there burning my gas to impress his deadbeat friends. Sarah Thompson's hands trembled as she gripped the phone, her scrubs still damp with the sweat of a grueling night shift at St. Mary's Hospital. The ER had been chaos, gunshot wounds, overdoses, and a kid who'd swallowed a toy car, but nothing stung like the text she'd just gotten from her neighbor. "Your car's doing donuts in the old warehouse lot. Jake's behind the wheel." She'd given up everything for that car. A sleek black Mustang she'd saved for over 3 years, a symbol of her independence after a messy divorce. Now, her 17-year-old stepson was treating it like a prop in his teenage rebellion. Sarah's voice cracked as she dialed Jake, her exhaustion giving way to fury. "Bring it back now, Jake, or I'm calling the cops." Jake's laugh crackled through the phone, smug and careless. "Chill, Sarah. It's just a joyride. I'll bring it back when I'm done." The line went dead, and Sarah's heart sank. She wasn't just fighting for her car, she was fighting for respect, for boundaries, for a family that had never quite felt like hers. Jake had been a storm in her life ever since she married his father, Tom, 2 years ago. Tom, a quiet mechanic with a soft heart, loved his son fiercely but was blind to Jake's spiraling defiance. Sarah, though, saw it all: the late-night parties, the skipped classes, the way Jake sneered at her like she was an intruder in his world. She glanced at the clock. Her shift wouldn't end for another 4 hours, and the hospital was a pressure cooker. A patient screamed from the next room, monitors beeped relentlessly, and her co-worker, Maria, shot her a sympathetic look. "Family drama?" Maria asked, handing her a lukewarm coffee. "Jake took my car," Sarah muttered, her voice tight. "He's out there showing off, and I'm stuck here." Maria raised an eyebrow. "You gonna let him walk all over you like that?" The question hit hard. Sarah had spent her life fixing things: patience, relationships, her own broken dreams, but Jake was a puzzle she couldn't solve. She'd tried kindness, tough love, even bribing him with concert tickets, but nothing worked. He saw her as the enemy, the woman who'd replaced his mom, though his mother had walked out years before Sarah ever entered the picture. She stepped into the break room, her mind racing. Calling the police wasn't an empty threat, but it wasn't simple either. Jake was family, even if he didn't act like it. Reporting him could tear apart what little trust remained between her and Tom, who was already stretched thin, working double shifts at the garage to cover Jake's school fines and court fees from his last stunt shoplifting at a gas station. But doing nothing wasn't an option. Sarah texted Jake again. "Last chance. Bring it back, or I'm done playing nice." No response. Her stomach twisted as she pictured her car wrecked. Or worse. Jake wrapped around a pole, his bravado snuffed out in an instant. She hated how much she cared. At 7 a.m., her shift finally ended. Sarah stepped into the gray dawn, her body aching but her resolve hardening. She called an Uber and headed to the warehouse district, a grimy stretch of abandoned lots and graffiti-covered walls where kids like Jake went to play outlaw. The air smelled of burnt rubber and regret as she spotted her Mustang, parked crookedly near a chain-link fence. Jake was leaning against it, laughing with a group of kids in hoodies, one of them passing around a vape pen. Sarah's voice cut through the morning haze, sharp enough to make heads turn. The other kids scattered like roaches, but Jake just smirked, tossing his hair out of his eyes. "What's the big deal?" he said, spreading his arms. "It's just a car." "It's my car," Sarah snapped, stepping closer. "You don't get to take what's mine and act like it's a game." Jake's smirk faded, replaced by a flicker of defiance. "You're not my mom. You don't get to tell me what to do." The words stung, but Sarah held her ground. "I'm not trying to be your mom, Jake. I'm trying to keep you from screwing up your life." He scoffed, kicking at the gravel. "You don't care about me. You just care about your stupid car." "That car," Sarah said, her voice low and steady, "is the one thing I have that's mine. Not your dad's, Not yours, mine. I worked for it. I earned it. And you don't get to take that away. For a moment, Jake's eyes softened, like he saw her for the first time not as the stepmom he resented, but as a person with her own battles. Then his walls went back up. Whatever, he muttered, tossing her the keys. Take it. I'm done. Sarah caught the keys, her fingers trembling not from anger now, but from something deeper grief. Maybe for the family they could have been. She wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him understand how much she'd sacrificed to keep their fractured household together. But instead, she got in the car and drove home, the silence louder than any argument. When she pulled into the driveway, Tom was waiting, his face lined with worry. Jake called, he said quietly. Told me what happened. Sarah, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, she said, her voice breaking. He can't keep doing this. Tom, and you can't keep letting him. Tom ran a hand through his graying hair, his eyes heavy with guilt. He's my kid, Sarah. I can't give up on him. I'm not asking you to give up, she said. I'm asking you to see what he's doing to us, to me. The conversation stretched into the morning, raw and painful. Tom admitted he'd been too soft on Jake, too afraid of losing him to his mother's absence or the streets. Sarah confessed her own fears of failing as a stepmom, of losing herself in the chaos of their blended family. They agreed Jake needed consequences, but also a chance to make things right. That night, Sarah found Jake in the garage, tinkering with one of Tom's old carburetors. He didn't look up when she walked in, but he didn't walk away either. I didn't call the cops, she said, leaning against the workbench. But this can't happen again. Jake, you want to drive, earn it. Help your dad at the shop. Get your grades up. Show me you're not just some punk kid. Jake's hands stilled, and for a moment, the only sound was the hum of the fluorescent lights. Why do you even care, he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Because you're family, Sarah said, the words catching in her throat, whether you like it or not. Over the next few weeks, things didn't magically fix themselves. Jake was still a sullen teenager, quick to snap and slow to trust, but he started showing up at the garage, learning from Tom, asking questions. Sarah caught him washing the Mustang one Saturday, his movements careful, almost reverent. It wasn't an apology, but it was a start. Sarah began to see glimpses of the kid. Jake could be smart, resourceful, fiercely loyal when he let his guard down. She started leaving him notes on the fridge. Good job at the shop today. Keep it up. He never mentioned them, but she noticed they disappeared. One evening, as Sarah pulled into the driveway after another brutal shift, she saw Jake waiting on the porch, holding a small, clumsily wrapped box. It's not a big deal, he muttered, shoving it into her hands. Inside was a keychain, a cheap metal thing shaped like a stethoscope. Figured it fits you, he said, looking anywhere but her face. Sarah's eyes stung as she clutched the keychain. It wasn't just about the car anymore. It was about trust, about building something real from the wreckage of their mistakes. She didn't know if they'd ever be the perfect family, but for the first time, she felt like they were trying. What do you think? Where does the line fall between discipline and forgiveness? Should Sarah have called the cops? Or was giving Jake a chance the right move? Share your thoughts on justice, family, and second chances.